Hi, I'm Jim Gordon.
And I'm Lita Leapins.
And welcome to another edition of Our City Tonight.
We're here at Hydra Restaurant in the Cabana Lounge with some very sweet treats in front of us.
Yes, we're heading into summer now, Lita. I'm going to try this before we get into things.
We need that for the segment.
Well, it's TV magic. They can fix it up while you watch this. This wine moment is brought to you by Cantine Riuniti, specializing in Lambrusco, Italy's other bubbles.
Well, we're here at Hydra in our Cabana Lounge where we love to film, and I am joined by Antonella Pagnanelli. I've been practicing that, but she is the International Export Manager for Riuniti Wines.
That's perfect.
I did that too. Okay, well, all the Italian is going to you now. We are thrilled to be learning today not only a little bit more about Prosecco, but Lambrusco. So let's start with talking about the winery itself, which is super unique. And you just flew in last night. You look amazing. We're so excited to have you on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure. Yes, a few words to introduce you to the company, the wineries I work for, and which is Cantine Riunite. It's a huge co-op based in Italy, based actually in Emilia-Romagna is where it started 75 years ago, this co-op. So today it's about 1,500 family-owned vine growers, which are our shareholders, basically.
Wow.
So that's where it all started from. And today, actually, Cantine Riunite is the parent company of the largest Italian wine group, which is including also Gruppo Italiano Vini with lots of brands that are very strong here in Canada and you're very familiar with.
Oh yes, and we're going to talk about that a little bit, about the entrance of Lambrusco in particular into, well, its popularity in Vancouver. I first tried it when I was in Emilia-Romagna and I was excited, but I came back here, couldn't find a lot of it. So let's start with the Prosecco that you brought to share.
So Prosecco, well, everybody knows Prosecco by today. It's a star, a worldwide star. And Maschio is actually one of the biggest brands in Prosecco. In Italy, if you come to Italy, you will find Maschio Prosecco everywhere. In Canada, not so much because we arrived a little bit late where the shelves were already crowded with Prosecco, but it's a wonderful Prosecco. The uniqueness of this brand is that unlike lots of other brands, this brand has only been producing Prosecco since the day the winery was founded. So it's not just a brand, it's a real Prosecco winery that has only been doing this from the day it was born.
Oh, that's interesting.
And the one you're tasting is a Prosecco Treviso, which is the original area where Prosecco started, because over the years the area has expanded. And Treviso is the core, let's say, the beginning of it.
Let's jump into this crowning glory here, which is having a real renaissance here.
Yes. So I always say that our company and our wineries is Lambrusco land. And anyone is welcome to become a citizen. So I say so because Lambrusco is not just a wine, it's a word. And there are 12 different grape varietals. And lots of different styles in terms of sugar content. So you can go from off-dry to sweet, and you have 3 different styles even of fermentation. So most Lambrusco will be Charmat, like Prosecco is Charmat, just to say something you're familiar with, which is the perfect method to extract the so-called primary aromas of the grapes, which means the fruit aromas of the grape. And then you can also have Lambrusco made in Champenoise method. like Champagne or like Franciacorta, for example. And third but not least, you can have metodo ancestrale, which is bottle fermented. So if you mix up all the grapes, all the styles, and all the different fermentation styles, you really end up with a world of wines which are so different from each other. And they have one main thing in common, that they are very, very easy to drink.
Yes.
Very food friendly. We say they are very gastronomic wine because the food pairing is infinite.
I'm going to jump into this one. This is the one we were starting with.
Yes, that's a Sorbara.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're going to taste that. You're going to tell us what we pair with that.
So Sorbara is a DOC coming from Modena area. You can recognize it because it has a lighter color. It almost looks like a rosé, but it's technically red. And this is the more floral of the grapes of Lambrusco. I would definitely pair it with any seafood dish, especially if you have some like tomatoes, capers, something, or something spicy. Lambrusco is wonderful also with Thai food, for example.
Oh, yes. I'm going to say to the viewers, this may look like a sweet wine. It is absolutely perfectly balanced and gorgeous tasting. So next one here.
Yeah, this is a dry version. Actually, normally Sorbara, is normally enjoyed dry. It tastes a touch of sweetness, but it's not the sugars, it's really the fruit that makes it feel that way.
It's delicious.
This one instead is a Grappa Rossa, which is a darker style of Lambrusco, where you can feel a little bit more tannins.
Okay.
And this is semi-dry, but the acidity is so nice that it's not at all a sweet wine.
No.
And it's a wine that we pair with pasta, with lasagna, with meat courses.
Perfect. And the last one, not the least, this is the most complex.
No, this is the last one because it's the sweetest.
Ah, okay.
And it's actually very easy drinking. And just because of it's a sweeter style, we put it at the end of the tasting.
Okay.
That's just a very easy drinking. Think to be in a patio with your friends. Just the working day is finished. You just relax. You enjoy a chilled glass of wine.
That is absolutely delicious. And what would you pair? Anything that's on the patio, right?
Well,
Any kind of nibblies.
I would. This is a wine that I would just enjoy on its own, or maybe just with a few olives or so, like an aperitif. The two you had before are more like food wines.
Okay, wonderful. Yes. Well, this is fantastic. What a great eye-opener for me. I mean, I tried Lambrusco, but very, very limited. So hopefully our viewers have a really good idea that there's all kinds. Vancouver is kind of a hotbed for Lambrusco, and the rest of Canada needs to catch up.
Yeah, it's starting to move also now with Quebec and Ontario are starting to get there. But for sure, Vancouver was the first to open the doors to Lambrusco. It's faster in catching trends, and with the low alcohol fizziness and really easy drinking style, Lambrusco catches today's trends perfectly.
Wonderful.
And it's also a wonderful ingredient for any cocktail. We have lots of cocktails based on Lambrusco.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for the great information. I can't wait to add this to my summer wine collection. And we've got Antonella with Riunite Winery, the cooperative winery. You can find out more in the rolling credits about this great winery.
Thank you very much.
This wine moment was brought to you by Cantine Riunite, specializing in Lambrusco, Italy's other bubbles. This segment is brought to you by the Vancouver International Jazz Festival, kicking off summer in the city for 40 years. Well, one of the many venues at this year's Vancouver International Jazz Festival, the 40th, I might add, is Tyrant Studios, located just upstairs from the iconic and one of the oldest clubs in Vancouver. It's the Penthouse nightclub. We're up here at Tyrant in their music stage room, and I'm joined by the festival's co-artistic director, Cole Schmidt. Thank you for joining us in this very iconic setting.
Thank you.
We should mention too, just before we get into the whole segment, that you look at the stage behind us and that classic piano over there, it's a little beat up, but that apparently is Oscar Peterson played there, Duke Ellington maybe, and Louis Armstrong cooked here. Not talking about on stage, apparently really cooked food here. But that's what you should check out when you check out this place. But Cole, let's start, before we get to the festival, I gotta ask you about, because everybody often has that, my parents did this story, and you kind of grew up with this festival, and talk about the first time that your dad brought you here and it really changed your life.
Yeah, the memory as I remember it is that as a young musician, I was just getting into music, falling in love with music, and this festival was thriving and a great opportunity to experience amazing music, plenty of different amazing music. So he's a musician, and he saw the potential of taking me to some shows, so he got us tickets to see the Brad Mehldau Trio at the Vogue. I was probably about 12 years old, and yeah, the story that I think was shared with you was just his reaction, my reaction, his reaction, which was, is my father okay? Is he on drugs right now? Like he was really excited about the music that we had just caught, and yeah, that had an impression on me too. I remember the show had an impression. It was an inspiring night of music, but also just seeing my dad in a state that I hadn't seen him before, to do with being moved by art was a great one. So
it's a very interesting perspective on that. And you're at the time just becoming a musician at the age of 12?
I don't know if I was becoming a musician, but I was learning about music, and I think my taste was expanding at the time. I was studying jazz and just getting into it. So yeah, again, the festival was just, as long as I've been in love with music, the festival has been this thing that happens every year, every summer, where people gather, and there's something for everyone.
You guys have been credited with kind of keeping the original recipe, if we can call it that, of what the festival was built upon, but you also know that you have to continue to evolve and expand the boundaries as different tastes and different cultures. How have you found that? Because you're never going to please everyone, but you also don't want to, for lack of a better phrase, maybe get stale or complacent. You're constantly looking at how do we expand with keeping committed to the origins of this festival.
Yeah, it's been challenging. There's been a lot of changes in the last few years. I have to send gratitude to the previous artistic director and founder, Ken Pickering, as well as Rainbow Robert, for just constantly having such a wide spectrum of music to share. I think Ken used to say from ragtime to no time. And yeah, so that's made it easier for us because we can tap into all sorts of music. And then the second credit to give is just the local scene here is super amazing. There's plenty of music in this city to generate all year long, and so we are honored to be working with a super talented city full of musicians, and that helps.
I said off the top, 40th anniversary for this summer festival, annual one. If there are people out there that may have not been to the festival and were seen across the country, if they're visiting or they're from here, how would you describe it to them? There's obviously a lot of venues, a lot of different music, but what would you recommend?
I don't know what everyone's taste is, but we have a wide variety of different music, different genres. A lot of it is free, so people can come and check that out.
Good thing to mention. A lot of concerts for free, right?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. It's June 20th to July 1st, coastaljazz.ca, and we should mention, if you're old school like me, you can find everything online, of course, but coming out, or it should be out now, you can check out the printed copies if you want to get one, commemorative too, his 40th anniversary. It is Cole Schmidt. He is the co-artistic director of the Vancouver International Jazz Festival. We separated him and his colleague Jeremy, which we weren't supposed to do, but we wanted to, and they went along with that. Lita is with Jeremy now. Lita, where are you?
Well, Jim, I am with Jeremy Page. He is one of the co-artistic directors alongside Cole, and buddies, inseparable. It was hard to get you guys in separate seats today, but thank you for joining me. We're in the lounge, formerly known as the Gold Room at the Penthouse, and you have a long love story with the festival. In fact, starting out as a young music fan, volunteer, performing. Tell us a bit of your journey with the festival.
I first became aware of it in the mid-90s, and from a perspective of being a musician. Friends opening me up to new music, and they go, oh, you gotta check out the jazz festival, and yeah, I was basically hooked since then. And I found out that you could volunteer and you can get some passes, and so I started doing that every year, anticipating the summer and signing up and just going to all of the shows, and it just sort of really feeds you. It sort of inspires you to keep on, pushing yourself. And
yeah, you've gone on and done some great things for the festival. In fact, cultivating young musicians, giving local artists the platform to actually perform with international, global performers. Can you talk a little bit about the festival's innovation series at the Review Stage?
Sure. Yeah, it's the Review Stage on Granville Island. We sort of used to do shows at a venue called the Ironworks. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that, in Railtown. And we've sort of moved everything onto Granville Island as a hub for the back half of the festival. And that's sort of where it's kind of more jazz adjacent music. It's a lot of it's improvised. We have sort of 2 shows each night. The first show is sometimes we do like free collaborations, so people visiting, and we'll find some local people and we'll just sort of curate that, throw them together, and they'll perform, make instant music.
Yeah, that's exciting. And well, that leads me to talk about the unexpected collaborations that happen through Open Jams, like here at Tyrant Studios in particular. You've had some experience with that as well.
Yeah, at Tyrant, it's more traditional jazz, so the jam format is oftentimes just calling a tune and people come up and sort of solo over the tunes together. So it's improvised, but it's in the more traditional style.
Well, you and Cole are doing a great job here and really opening up platforms for everybody involved, and so congratulations.
Thank you. It's great to be a part of it. Never thought I would find myself here.
Well, you're there, you're in there, and you're doing a great job, so thanks. Thanks, Jeremy.
Thank you.
This segment was brought to you by the Vancouver International Jazz Festival, kicking off summer in the city for 40 years.
Well, here at Hydra Restaurant, I am joined by the pastry chef, and unbelievable desserts they have here at Hydra.
Nice to
You've
meet
been
you.
with them for 3 years.
Yes.
You've been a pastry chef for 12 years.
12 years, yes.
That's incredible. So we're going to start over here. This is a pretty Greek dish.
This is baklava, Greek dish, and then we're using pistachio ice cream, and then the inside of pistachios and some walnut. We're putting some walnut because of our taste, and then we're making vanilla whipped cream for the garnish. And honestly, 100% Greek style. And then when you guys go into Greece, and then you can eat 100% like that.
Yeah.
And
I've actually tried this. It's delicious here, and so I'm glad you're keeping up that
Thank
tradition. Let's go to this. This is incredible.
This one, bugassa.
Yeah, you just cut it for us, and tell us a little bit about what that is.
This one inside the bugassa cream, and we're using fresh caramel.
Ooh.
And then some ganache for garnish. And the outside is crunchy phyllo. Yes, it's little like caramel, right? It looks like caramel.
Oh,
And
nice.
if you guys want, I can put on the
Yeah, pour on the chocolate. Unbelievable. Oh my. Okay. If that's not a dessert lover's favorite, I don't know what is. That is beautiful. And this one.
This one dark chocolate olive oil cake, and this one dulce de leche is homemade style.
Oh, wow.
And then on top is vanilla mousse, and we're using salty crumble.
Oh, wonderful. And there's lots of chocolate on that.
Yes,
Oh, and
exactly,
that's perfect. Dessert lover's dream. So thanks for joining us. I know that there's going to be lots more desserts here at Hydra because you have full creative freedom in the kitchen.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks so much.
You're looking at some of the video of one of my favorite songs of the 1980s, Romantic Traffic. It is by a bunch of, high school kids from Burlington that formed a group called the Spoons. They went on to win Juno Award-winning Band of the Year in '83. Their music is timeless. It continues to gain more and more fans through other and younger generations. Which leads me to our next guest. I'm taking my broadcasting hat off and I'm going to put my fan hat on for a few seconds to welcome Gord Depp, frontman for the iconic band, The Spoons, who is coming to us from Oakville. Gord, welcome to our city tonight.
Oh, it's great to be back. I was born in Vancouver, so any chance I could be there virtually is fine with me.
That's good to hear. Let's go back. It's your 40th anniversary, and you guys would be on tour right now if we're not in the middle of this COVID thing. Hopefully, you'll be back on tour next year. Let's go back 40 years and what you guys were doing when you guys come together as the Spoons. It's more of you got more of a punk flavor, but then you go see Orchestral Maneuvers in the Dark in Hamilton, and it changes the way you guys are going to present your music. And you go home and write your first huge hit single, Nova Heart. Talk about that.
That's right, because we were a little edgy, a little indie before all that, and then I saw those guys and said, that's why I want to be, because I always thought we could be something more grand and sophisticated in our styling, and that changed everything. And I'm not even a keyboard player. I just borrowed Rob, the keyboard player's keyboard, and so the first thing I played was da-da-da, da-da-da, without even thinking about it. And he said that was so stupid, it was perfect. So simple, I should say, not stupid. Well,
yeah, great hook. I mean, the song was a massive, massive hit. Of course, you guys followed with a bunch of other hits. I got to ask you though, back then it was really, I know every generation says, well, this is different this time. Back in the early 80s, you all of a sudden had to worry about not only writing a good song, singing a good song, but you also had to worry about making like good videos, because that just a couple of years earlier was not a requirement. You've always done some great videos. Talk about that new horizon of, now we got to be on camera as well.
Well, luckily we were young and pretty back then, and if you didn't know, we were on the very first episode of Much Music with Romantic Traffic. That's how far back we go. And when it came time for this new album we just put out, New Day, New World, I thought, who even watches videos anymore? But I was wrong. We made 2 videos during quarantine that have gone on to be in over 40 film festivals around the world, from Cannes to Bollywood and Hollywood, and won about half of them. So videos still have power,
I think they do. They're still out there, of course. Talk about, and you had some special guests in these videos that you did during the recent pandemic.
Yeah, well, they kind of message things, and we got about 60 people from Flock Seagulls and Wang Sean, Corey Hart, Glass Tiger, and then Degrassi High people, Curtis Josephs, Ed the Sock, if you remember Ed the Sock. Yeah. Anybody, and people from TV shows, and they all gave a message from home with a simple sign. I like Alan Frews, it's the "Don't forget me when I'm home," something like that. So we all had messages, and it's first song called New Day, New World. And how pathetic is that title? But an album that came out last year, but for the time that we're in right now. And we did one for the frontline workers, a song called Landing Lights, which is the same thing. Both worth checking out. They have friends and family and celebrities in it, and messages that I hope will help people right now.
Speaking of helping people, Gord, we should say that, as I mentioned, 40th anniversary, you clearly would be on tour right now. You're not, but you've been involved in doing some virtual concerts. I want to talk to you about this Back to the Basement, which really is great because it's benefiting frontline workers with meaningful support, and people most at risk in this pandemic are cared for regardless of politics, religion, or ability to pay. It's directrelief.org, and that's what this concert was about, which people can still see. Give us some information on that.
You can see it on YouTube and Facebook. The concert is called Back to Basement, but the website is called Abducted by the 80s, which is brilliant. Yeah, and we're the only Canadian band. Spoons, we were happy to represent Canada, but Flock Seagulls, Wang Chung, Naked Eyes, Escape Club, Animotion, the list goes on. and some great cameos by people from MTV. So it's a good thing to watch and see how people perform from home. Now, what we did was instead of just having the Zoom thing with the 4 boxes, we actually recorded in real time at Sandy's house, and each one of us in a different room of the house. I got the kitchen. Sandy's in the dining room, the keyboard player's in the bedroom, so the camera kind of wanders around finding us in the house.
I'm very encouraged to hear that people like yourself are finding ways to get to your fans, because it is missed, live music, concerts, and everything. So it's great that you're doing that. We should mention more information on the Spoons, spoonsmusic.com. If you've not heard their music, or if you were a big fan and your kids, get them to listen to it. Their music is timeless. I say that as a fan, but also as a former DJ and music critic. Gord Depp, thank you for joining us, and we wish you the best of luck going forward.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Closed captioning and other promotional considerations provided by Hamilton High Street Senior Residence, Richmond's newest senior living community.
Well, it's been a great show, but it is time to say goodbye, and Jim hasn't even waited for the credits to roll.
It's also time to eat.
Anyway, thank you for joining us on this edition of Our City Tonight. Don't forget, if you want to contact us, it's info@ourcitytonighttv.com. Speaking of food, make sure you check out the restaurant segment on our website.
Yes, and make sure you make comments on Jim's eating ability.
Yes, well, our viewers tell us we should be eating more. So anyway, while I'm eating, I'll say I'm Jim Gordon.
I'm Lena Lee Fens.
You finish the rest of what I'm eating.
See you on the next edition of Our City Tonight.
So good.
You can contact us and watch past episodes at ourcitytonighttv.com. The Richmond Sentinel, providing news, entertainment, and human interest stories in print and online.